Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to J Wall Sports. We are back here with another episode.
Another one. Hey, Pistol,
This,
wide receiver, hit my line. Hit my line.
what is up with you in this? When you bench your seasoned veteran quarterback this late in the season, it's sending a message to the team.
Then goes out. And now they want to play with some heart. They want to play with some effort.
I see why Doc got fired. If you're not gonna make the adjustments of the coach, you need to go up and get up out of here.
Wentz has regressed. And it's a mental.
Disclaimer: he might have some outrageous, Max Kellerman type, things to say today. I don't know what he's gonna say, but the way he's starting off this video is giving me them vibes.
What's up, J-Wall Sports fan? It's your boy Lamar. As always, I'm here with my guy, Night Shot Anderson. How you doing?
I'm good, man. Chilling, living good. NBA's catching it.
Yeah, how the weather up there in Concord?
It's raining, dog. So, it's dark on the outside, but it's bright up in here. You feel me?
I'm weak. I feel you on that, man. I'm all the way up here, man. It's trying to snow up here, and I don't need it to snow at all.
Where are you at that it's trying to snow?
I'm in Virginia.
I about to say North Carolina weather crazy, raining in one part of the state and snowing in the other.
Nah, bro. They trying to snow up here. I don't need none of that. So we back, guys, with some NBA talk. I know we've been gone for a while due to the NFL's postseason, and it was really just a lot for us to cover. So we were gonna wait for the NBA to get jumping a little bit, get into their groove, and so we back now. We back with the NBA talk.
Yes, sir.
All right, so I know that we give the NBA so much praise on how they handle things in a bubble, no positive tests. They were able to salvage the end of their season. They were able to crown a champion, which were the Lakers, and Finals MVP was that GOAT James Brown. But now they're scaring me, with how they're handling things. I think we gave them a little bit too much praise because they were in a bubble, but we did, we were curious on how they were going to handle things outside of a bubble, and it's not looking, so hot right now, especially with them trying to have an NBA All-Star game after they said in the beginning of the season that they weren't going to have the All-Star game due to healthy safety protocols. Now that they have a date set on March 7th in Atlanta, and players have openly spoken against the 2021 All-Star game, including 2020 MVP Giannis Antetokounmpo, and this is what he had to say.
You got to all follow the big dog, man. The big dog says he's not, zero excitement, zero energy for the All-Star game. I'm the same way. I really right now don't care about the All-Star game. What I care, like, we cannot see our families. Like, I can't worry about the All-Star game. I want to see my family. I want to go see my little brother in Spain. I want my brother to come see me. So I'm the same way. I got zero energy, zero excitement. At the end of the day, they tell us we're going to show up. We got to do our job. I'm always doing my job. I'm always showing up, showing the right example. But at the end of the day, inside, deep down, I don't want to do it. I want to get some break.
So with that being said, Nashan, how do you feel about the NBA having an All-Star game?
I'm not vibing with it, man. It's just, you paying these athletes so much to even to go out there and play a regular season and, risk their lives and their family lives to play. And now you want them to go out there and just make you a little bit more money. I mean, Kawhi Leonard said the NBA is choosing money over health at this point. And I agree. If the player's heart isn't into it, like Giannis said, like zero energy, zero excitement. Just let them have that week off that you regularly have the All-Star weekend. Let them rest, build up, and finish the season strong. And then I seen yesterday, I believe, that they say they're trying to have a dunk contest during the All-Star game.
Yes.
You're bringing more people in, more players in for the dunk contest, because I know you're not going to choose people that are playing in the All-Star game.
Right.
It's a big mess, and it's not worth the risk. It's really not.
Right. I completely agree with you. They said, at the beginning of the season, oh, we're not going to do an All-Star game, and then you went back on your word, just like LeBron said. That's a slap in the face. It's pretty borderline. It's borderline disrespectful at this point. It just like Giannis said, we gonna go with the big dog. LeBron said we don't want to play, and then after the year that we had last year with the All-Star, and honoring Kobe, and 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 how intense that All-Star game was. If the players aren't into it, I don't think it's going to be that intense, and I think those views are just gonna go down for those All-Star games, and that's what they've been trying to do. They've been trying to, well, it's the opposite of what they've been trying to do. They've been trying to increase the views, increase the intensity of the game, make it to the point where it's some real entertainment for fans and people who really don't really watch basketball all the time, but they just tune in for that All-Star game. So I don't know why in the world they are having an All-Star game. You're bringing people, from all across the country. You're putting them on planes. They're not on private jets anymore. They're not private jets, but like team planes. They're not, in that controlled environment with everybody that's being tested. So you're subjecting these players to be prone to getting this virus. And then on top of that, to be safe about it, you're gonna have to quarantine everybody for 2 weeks, then play the games, then quarantine another 2 weeks, so they're not bringing something back from that game possibly to their teammates when they return back to the team. That's essentially a month off, because 2 weeks game, 2 weeks, then playing again.
And then you're losing money in a sense, because you're trying to bring in money by having these All-Stars come in. But if half the All-Stars get sick, nobody's gonna watch the NBA games. No one's gonna watch those primetime ESPN games if LeBron's not playing, if Kevin Durant's not playing, if Steph Curry's not playing.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. And then essentially you're losing more money. Like, I understand, they're being pushed by the sponsors, but at some point you got to put back. And Adam Silver, he's a really great commissioner, and I think this may be, his one slip up. He's human. He's not going to be perfect, but I think this is the one thing that you have to get right, especially in this day and time where in social media, players can, have their own voice, if this goes sideways. And then now you don't even have a player sticking with you. And then now players like Kyrie or, LeBron or Giannis, they're going to be like, oh, so we told you this was going to work out. Now, X amount of players, hopefully they don't, but, if X amount of players have caught COVID, now, we don't want to play the rest of the season. You're gaining a little bit of money back, but your risk is not going to be as great as your reward.
Not. Yeah. So with that being said, there was a little incident I'd like to get into. So on February 5th, Brooklyn Nets played against the Toronto Raptors. Minutes before the game, Kevin Durant was ruled ineligible because of health and safety protocols. In the second quarter, he was able to return, and then with 9 minutes left in the third quarter, Durant had to leave the game due to contact tracing. NBA reporter Malika Andrews broke down the situation for us by posting this on Twitter saying, NBA spokesperson Tim Frank, Kevin Durant had tested negative 3 times in the last 24 hours, including 2 negative PCR tests today. However, someone he interacted with this afternoon subsequently had an inconclusive test results returned shortly before the game. Durant was initially held out the game while the test results were being reviewed. Under the league's health and safety protocol, we do not require a player to be quarantined until a close contact has confirmed a positive test. During the game, a positive test was returned for the person Durant had interacted with this afternoon. Out of abundance of caution, Durant was removed from the game, and contact tracing is underway to determine if he was, in fact, a close contact of the positive individual. After the players and coaches were seen visibly frustrated, including James Harden, he had this to say.
Especially, we follow the protocols. We get tested, every single day. So I don't understand the whole thing where he couldn't play, and then he came on the court, and then they took him back. It's just a lot going on. It's too much going on. It's kind of overwhelming, especially when we're in the midst of a tough game, and like these games are going to add up, especially if we're talking about playoff seeding. We're talking about positioning ourselves and to home court advantage and whatnot, and catch a rhythm and all that. So I feel like I don't know. It's overwhelming. It's frustrating. Yeah.
So after watching the video, do you think the NBA handled this situation correctly?
No. There's no way they could have. There's a way they could have handled this situation correctly, but no, they buffed this one up really bad. So, talking to my sister who is a nurse, and both of my sisters are nurses, so I got a little insight from them. Even if it's due to contact tracing, that person should be quarantined until they get the results back. Because if Kevin Durant goes around the team and then it's a positive test like it was, and KD test is positive, now not only are the Nets players, staff, and others in jeopardy, but they jeopardize the Raptors team. Then they went and played the Sixers, who they jeopardized, and then they went and played the Clippers. I think it was the last team they played, who you could potentially be jeopardizing all these teams. If it was a case of we don't know if the test is positive or not, it came back inconclusive, hold the game until you figure it out. We're talking about people's safety here. We're not just talking about players who make millions and millions of dollars. We're talking about their families. Some people have infants, like Avery Bradley. He has a child with underlying conditions. All these things there's so many other ways you could have handled this better. And putting Kevin Durant into the game and then letting him be around, players who really guard him a lot, like Kyle Lowry, Serge Ibaka, were two of the names that guarded him, over 30 times and were in close contact with him over 30 times, in just a short amount of time he was in there. And we really don't know how this virus is working, but we know that it goes through the air. So just him being on that court, you're infecting everybody, including the referees, including your stats crew, your play-by-play announcers. So it's potentially you put hundreds of people, and that hundreds of people can grow to thousands, depending on family sizes. We don't know everybody's situations. We don't know if people are going back to hotels after games, give it 24 hours, just, make sure, tests are coming back negative. And at Winston, when I was testing with the girls basketball team, we were getting rapid tests done in 15 minutes. There's no way that they couldn't get a test back in enough time for said person that KD was in contact with within enough time for them to play the game. So this is one of the instances where I talked about where the NBA could be doing so much better, but they mess up on a few points here and there, and that skews everybody as the viewers of the NBA, whole perception of how well they are handling this COVID protocols and everything.
I mean, shoot, you said it perfectly. I don't really need to say nothing else after that, but to kind of follow up on what you had said, I mean, yeah, even going back to the last check, talking about having the All-Star game, it seems like the NBA is backtracking now on the things it did so well on in the bubble. And like you said, when you get tested, you quarantine yourself until you have that negative result back. When I got tested for school, shoot, I ain't going nowhere for 2 days just to be on the safe side. And to think that you're putting all these players and their families at risk is just unacceptable. And now after seeing how they handled this situation, why do you think the players will want to play an All-Star game if you can't handle a regular season game correctly? And regular season games are more often, they're more frequent, day to day, day in and day out. And you can't handle that correctly, then you don't only have this one time ordeal to being played if you're not handling those simple little things that you need to correct.
Right, and I completely agree with you, and that's why I took the stance I took, man. They need to do way better job, and I cannot stress on how bad they messed this up, man. And KD he didn't test positive, so he can come back after missing 3 games, which confuses me again. Why is he missing 3 days if you guys can get the test back and showing that he's negative, and he did test negative twice in that past 24 hours. So that's all very weird for me.
Which even goes back to, like, if you can test positive in the last 24 hours, I mean negative in the last 24 hours, how come you can get another test within 24 hours?
Right, and that exactly, and that's just, and this reminds me of the WNBA player Asia Dur. She caught COVID a while back, back when I think right before they did the wobble, and she is still having problems from COVID. She hasn't been able to play any basketball. She's it's every day. She said it's a guesswork with her because some days she feels okay, some days are worse than others, and nobody is able to tell her why she is still having problems, and she can't come back to the court. And so with the WNBA and NBA, I know they work close to hand, keep up with everybody, try to come together to do the best thing for the players. But you can't you can't tell me you're doing the best thing for the players, and there are players and people in the world like Asia Dur.
You're right.
I mean, I just don't understand. Like I said, Adam Silver, he's a really good, commissioner, and I think this is going to be one of the defining things in his career as a commissioner that we will always look back on if this goes real left.
Yeah.
So we know the NBA is having an All-Star game for whatever reasons they're having an All-Star game, and with that being said, everybody knows it's some players who get snubbed every year from the All-Star. And this year is going to be some really big names and some players who are playing fantastic ball this season. But we know how this game works. So for the East, man, who's getting snubbed?
Jeremy Grant.
Yeah.
On Detroit Pistons. I mean, bro is hooping. He's really improved his game over time in the league. He's averaging 24 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists. He's doing all this while guarding the opposing team's best player.
Right.
I see him as like a Jimmy Butler kind of player. Came in the league only on defense, and each year he's improving his offensive game, and everything's kind of molding together right now. But his team is 5-18, and that's not going to help you get the All-Star game. But he's putting up fantastic numbers and has the Piston team battling with. They can't finish games or can't pull out the games, but he's playing really great right now.
Right. And I can do you one better, man. De'Aaron Fox.
Yeah.
De'Aaron Fox, he is playing some amazing basketball right now, and the Kings overall are playing really good basketball right now. They're getting good help from the role players, but it's this year is so tough, especially with the East. Reloading with some new players such as James Harden and Jaylen Brown. He's having a very exceptional year, and then Bradley Beal, who I promise you, if he gets snubbed again this year, I'm done with the NBA. It's the All-Star at least. It's rigged, and you won't see me back with the NBA. Bradley Beal deserves to be. He's the only player to go 10 games with 40 points and take L's in all 10 of those games. I don't care about records at this point. Bradley Beal deserves to be an All-Star, and if he's not an All-Star, I'm raising hell.
I agree. Shoot, that can be a section for the show to stop the cat. That'd be the first thing to talk about right
Oh
there.
yeah, that'd be the very first thing we talk about. Stop the cap. Why is the Bradley Beal All-Star? But
I just want
hopefully,
I just
go
want to let you
ahead.
know that the East, and then you said the Aaron Fox, which plays in the West. I just want to let you know that you said that.
I put him in the wrong category.
Yeah.
Shoot.
But you good though. It was a good tape.
I appreciate it. My second person who I know for sure he's in the East is Julius Randle.
Mm.
He's really carrying this Knicks team right now, and they're playing some good basketball. Like I wouldn't be ashamed to be a Knicks fan no more if I was you right now. Like I'd be yeah, I'm a Knicks fan. We suck right now, but give me 2 years. Let Obi Toppin get some games in, some minutes, and then they also added D Rose back to the team, which I don't know why they went back for D Rose, but I like how this team is playing right now. They have some really really good young players.
I agree. Well, I'm gonna give you my West since
All right,
got
yeah,
out.
go ahead and give me the West.
My boy SGA, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. He's playing some really great ball right now. 22 points, 5 rebounds, 7 assists a game, and it's on his third year in the league. And I can tell from having CP3 on his team last year that he's definitely had some improvement in this game. And it's on his third year in the league, and he's
Right.
kind of in that Thunder team. They're 14th in the West, but you know how the West is. They're only like 2 games out of 8
Right.
on it. So I really like what he's doing. The team is kind of cutting him on his performance, but watch out, league. Give him about 2 years and give him an all-star, man. And it's going to be scary out there.
Right. And for the West, I don't even have just one person that's gonna be snubbed. It's like 3-4 people. Like CP3, I don't think he's gonna make it. CJ, not gonna make it.
Well, he hurt though, so CJ kind of got crossed off.
Yeah. But like sometimes a player will not play all season. He'll still be a starter in the All Star. Kobe's done it before. So yeah, Klay Thompson. He was at the bottom of my list. I wasn't even gonna talk about him. Brandon Ingram is another really good player in the West that he's probably not gonna make it. And then Christian Wood. It's his first little breakout season. He probably won't make it this year, but next year I expect to. Sheesh. I don't know. Next year, I expect to see him up there, and Carmelo. As much as I want him to make it, there's not another player in the East that they can just like randomly throw in there and be like, oh yeah, you're sort of grandfather. Then we're gonna put you in the All Star like they did. Dwayne Wade and Dirk Nowitzki when it was their last season.
So let me ask you this: you think Jaylen Brown's making it this year?
Yeah, I got Jaylen Brown up there. Jaylen Brown is my fourth guard in there. I got for the East, I got Bill, Kyrie, James Harden, and Jaylen Brown. Those are my 4 guards making it.
Hey, it's gonna be scary out there out there in Boston, man. If him and Tatum can keep that rolling, they're gonna be up there for the one of the best duos.
And they have some really good pieces around them too. Some really good complementary pieces. I think Tristan Thompson, best sign they could have found. He's a dog on the boards. I loved him when he played with the Cavs. And then Peyton Pritchard, he just seems to always be, doing the right things at the right time. Even if he's not scoring, he
good defense, passing the ball.
Defense, passing the ball.
Offense.
Right.
Yeah.
Like he's gonna be I could see him being like what's my compare? JJ Redick.
I thought you were gonna say Barea.
Nah, because he's a shooter.
True.
That's gonna be his niche. Like he's a shooter, just like Redick is a shooter. I could see him, pretty much same size. I could see him, taking on that sort of role. Yeah. But who are your back end players that you got making it into the All-Star? Like your last, like, not in your second unit, but we throwing them in there too.
I did not write this down because I wasn't expecting you to ask me that. But who was it? LaMelo's playing really great ball. No pun intended.
I'm weak.
Uh,
If they were doing like freshman sophomore game, of course Melo's in there, but All-Star right now, I don't see him making All-Star right now.
I said he's playing really great ball right now. But you said 30. He can.
Yeah, but you also got to remember. So like, just to give you some frame of reference, like, so I told you my starting four for the backcourt were Bill, Kyrie, Harden, Jaylen Brown. My front court people are Katie, Joel, Giannis, JT. And then my last four people to make it in are Zach LaVine, Trae Young, Jimmy Butler, and Bam Adebayo.
LaVine is going crazy right now too.
Right, and I couldn't not throw him in there with the All-Star just because he is doing his thing. And Jimmy is a real like
dog.
He's a dog, but like for this year, he ain't really been like doing numbers like he was last year. And I'm going to give him his flowers because they were just in the finals. He didn't have Bam and not Sabonis. Dragic. There you go. Yeah, he didn't have Dragic, and we've seen what that one night of him playing 40 minutes did to him. Yeah, he was laid over the table. Not to throw no shade, but he did what LeBron did in one night, and his body almost collapsed on him. So I'm going to give him that break right there on why he hasn't been playing to the ability that we know that he can play at. But I think for name and likeness sake that he will make the back end of the All-Star.
Bam's been putting up some career highs this year, but
yeah, I think Bam. That's why I had to put Bam up there. Bam was my only extra ad for the front court because they don't really do like a lot of post players and whatnot because post players don't really get no love out there.
What's his name? Not Dragic. Brogdon's playing really well too this year.
Brogdon. He is, but I think he's being outshined by Trae because everybody just loves Trae. His game is real flashy. I think that's what it is. Trae's game is really flashy. Like Clay is just to go off a little. Clay is really good at what he does, but Steph is the more flashy. So Steph gets the more praise than Clay. Even though Clay and Steph, that catch and shoot, they're pretty much like they're on the same level.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that's like the same thing that's going on, but the real hoopers they know that Sabonis is he's out there hooping.
If you know, you know.
Right.
I have to make that a segment.
If you know, you know. I'm weak. So Steph, Luka, Dame, and Ja making his first appearance in the All-Star because he hooping, and I knew he was gonna make the All-Star since last year because he's that flashy player. Like I just said, everybody likes the flashy player. The dunk where he cleared Kevin Love, and he almost finished that thing, but he
was about the new jump man for a second, for real.
Okay, he and Kevin Love not short.
No.
Kevin Love is almost. I think Kevin Love is almost a 7-footer. I think he's like up there with that 6'9", 6'10" kind of.
I want to say 6'10".
Yeah. I want to say like 6'10", and he almost put a Vince Carter. That's exactly what we're gonna call it. He almost put a Vince Carter. And then for my front court, I got LeBron leading the way for the West. Jokic, because he got to be in there. Jokic is killing it. Kawhi and AD. And then my last four, I got Spider, Donovan Mitchell, PG, Devin Booker, and Zion.
I'm surprised you I'm not surprised, but it's interesting. Devin Booker's numbers have went down, but the team has improved.
Right.
And so I won't say it's an interesting take, but it's just like, okay. He had the other years, but now that his numbers are down,
Well,
that's like the media.
yeah, and the way I did I based them off the voting. Like I looked at what the voting was so far, and the media, coaches, staff, team personnel who really know the game. They don't pick the all-star. The fans pick the all-stars. And right now, because D-Book is taking a not really a lesser role, but he has his counterpart in CP3 who is taking a lot of the load off of him. He doesn't get as much shine, but he's still an all-star caliber player, and that's why everybody else I have him above is he's playing better ball than them, and I took both things into account, and that that's why like he's like my last four in right now, just because his name ain't so hot right now.
But D Mitch is hooping right now.
He is hooping, but that front court of Steph and Luka, I don't.
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah, and that's why talking about the All-Star, especially this year, is so tough because literally everybody that I named should be an All-Star. Like Shea should be an All-Star. CP3 most definitely should be an All-Star. Like BI was an All-Star last year, and he's hooping still this year. Most definitely should be an All-Star. But the West is just loaded. It's tough.
Yeah.
And I mean, one of these players might make it in because AD has missed 5 games, and I don't think he'll probably come up with an injury, so he don't have to play. Just because, who cares about this year's All-Star? And then that'll be room for BI or CP3. Those would be my next two to congratulations, you're All-Star again. You're alternate, but hey, you're All-Star.
You made it.
All right. So that's all we got for you guys today. Appreciate you guys for tuning in to the show. We're going to start hitting on NBA topics a lot more since, the NFL season is over with. And unfortunately, they crowned a champion I ain't too happy with. But, it's all good, though. Next time, we'll probably talk about some MVPs, most improved player, how your top teams are doing this year. So stay tuned with us, guys, and we out.
Out.